relevance over the last 30 years? The answer is absolutely no, right? The topic is TPM, which we are going to discuss. And its relevance is only going higher and higher over the years, in spite of all these automations and AI, ML, because TPM is the basic stuff that we need to do, over which all your advanced, sophisticated next generation interventions can ride over. But TPM is at the really the core of things, the underpinning of how we do business, which Japanese have practiced for last 70, 80 years, and it has made a big wave in India in the last 30 years, and it has never lost its relevance. So I'm very glad to host this session on behalf of CII for this very, very important topic. And we also have a very good speaker here, my good friend Gopalakrishnan, who I know for the last many, many years. And I have seen his work in some of the companies where Gopal used to work. And now he's a full-time CII consultant. And I am so pleased that Gopal has agreed to give this talk. And let me introduce Gopal. Gopal comes from Indian Air Force and he has served the nation. Thank you, Gopal, first of all, for serving the nation. So people like you must ensure that we live in a very safe country, right? I mean, so nobody can attack us. We have seen attacks going on around, and no one can dare attacking India. That is because of dedicated people like you and the rigor that we put into our military. So, Gopal, after serving the Air Force for 20 years, where the PPM or reliability expectation is absolutely, PPM should be 0, right? Reliability should be 1. That is the background that Gopal has come from, with maintaining our aircrafts and making them fight worthy and all. He has, in the Air Force, he has worked on various areas, as I mentioned, about aircraft engine systems maintenance and also quality management and various other aspects. And after that, after his illustrious stint in Air Force, Gopal has moved to the industry, where the last 5 years, after his Air Force tenure, he spent like 5 years with Raycom. And after that, then the last 4 or 5 years, Gopal has been fully deploying TPM across the country. And Gopal is a very busy consultant, flying from north to south, east to west. And I'm so glad that we could catch Gopal in this brief time so that he can spend some time with us to give us a overview about TPM. So with that, Gopal, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Ashok, for this most generous introduction of me. Thank you very much. So, Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Good evening, all participants, whoever is online and who are yet to join. Thanks to CII Chennai for giving me this opportunity to interact with your TQM forum and chaired by Mr. Ashok. As Ashok has said that the TPM is there in the system in our country more than 30 plus years now. So everyone knows what is TPM. The concepts are very familiar with almost everybody. So how much we know, how much we deploy that, how much we dedicatedly follow that is the variable. And that is the tagline that we are going to discuss today. And because it's a well-known subject, it become a commodity in India that TPM is well known to everyone, but the depth of implementation is still lacking. So this opportunity for me to discuss with you all, I would like to bring some focus with respect to the companies who are already practicing TPM and the companies who are yet to start the TPM. As a person who is known and practicing various business excellence tools, I would like to give maximum credit to the TPM as a tool because it gives a strong foundation from where any other excellence tool can be comfortably launched. So without a basement and without a strong basement for other, so it will be impossible for launching any other business excellence initiatives which may not be in a position to sustain. That is the beauty of TPM, and the TPM talks about the basics. So I have a brief presentation to you all. Let me share that. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So we will continue from here. TPM is a three-letter word. It's a total productive maintenance. As TQM says, the total quality management, that's M in TQM is management, in TPM is maintenance. This is the major difference between these tools. So let us understand all these concepts right from understanding the tools, name and its objectives, its meaning, etc., etc. for the next 1 hour. Total is talking about the involvement of all the resources of the organization. So if you go by the management definition of an organization is the collection of various resources working for a common goal. That is the definition under the management. So TPM talks about that management concept by only this word total. So the TPM wanted to ensure that all the resources of the organization working together towards the common objective of the organization. The second word is productive. Whatever we do have to be a productive. So the non-productive element of the system is the real culprit which doesn't allow the organization to move further, or it slows down the pace of the organization. So we need to ensure everything, whatever we do has to be productive. By the way, am I audible? Comfortable?
Yes, Gopal. Yeah,
Right.
I could clearly hear you. Please go ahead.
Right. So the third point is with respect to maintenance word. This maintenance word, generally people get confused with the machine maintenance or the shop floor maintenance or the typical maintenance profile of any industrial organization. It is not that word maintenance. This maintenance word is wherever the organization with respect to any excellence initiative, you need to sustain that. So the deterioration pattern of any excellence initiative will be very fast. So unless otherwise you arrest the deterioration, the improvement is almost impossible. So this maintenance word is talking about sustaining the current status of the organization, and from there you improve and sustain for a period of time, then improve. Something like that, the PQCD and the PDCA cycle of the organization, how many rotation you do, that is the level the improvement happens. So this maintenance word is referring to the continuous improvement concept of the any excellence initiative. So by having understood the three words meaning TPM, let us understand the definition of that. TPM aims to create a corporate system. So it is talking about a corporate system. So in a system, there are empty number of processes. Anything and everything is happening through a process. Unless the processes are being made robust, so it will be the variabilities are built in within the system. So TPM aims to create a corporate system that maximizes the efficiency. The efficiency word, if it is used, it is directly related to the second word, productive. Unless otherwise, you have to, if you are not productive, the efficiency word is not related to you. So the efficiency word getting connected with the second letter, productive, of the production system. The overall efficiency improvement of the organization is the core focus of the tool TPM. TPM is both of preventive as well as proactive. It starts with the preventive approach with respect to the reactive approach with respect to the current crisis of the organization. Then it get into the mode of proactive approach. But basically, it tries to arrest the occurrence of any losses or wastages, moda, mura, muri, or whatever, anything happens in the system. So it tries to prevent the occurrence. Try to prevent the occurrence is proactive mode. Thereby, TPM has the guts to say zeros in all these three major categories of the results of the organization, like zero accident, zero defect, zero failure. No other tool of business excellence is dare enough to use the word zero. But the TPM has the guts to use this word zero, and it has also been proved that zero is possible in the entire life cycle of the production system. TPM is applied in all sectors. It is not confined to any engineering industry or a type of industry, etc. Even service industry, TPM is possible. So how? So TPM is practicable, and TPM can be implemented across all sectors of the organization, including production, development, and administrative departments. Since because the TPM is focusing on the shop floor first, it is a misnomer that TPM is an operational excellence tool. The major difference between TPM and TQM is TQM starts from customer, and then it recognizes or identify the processor by using the inputs so that the customer expectations are being met. So TQM starts from the customer and coming to the input, but TPM starts from the input, then goes through the process to produce the output what the customer wants. So the focus of TPM is on the input side. The focus of TQM is on the output side with respect to the customer. TPM is based on the participation of all members. As I told you that the total world, including the resources of human being. So everyone in the organization have to work together in tandem with each other. And that is the beauty of this tool, TPM. And TPM achieves zero losses through developing or overlapping small group activities. Small group activities is something like CFT teams in TQM language. You can say it as QC circle, etc. But the people have to, the problem has to be identified. Then you have to form an appropriate group. That group tries to find out the doing the slice and dice of that problem and finding an appropriate solution of the problem. So that group approach in TPM language is called a small group activity. The business scenario in olden days was there is a cost to produce certain product, and you add certain percentage of profit to it, and you decide the sales price. So this was the manufacturer's market, where the production and the certain amount of the percentage of profit the organization wanted to achieve, then the sales price was determined, and it is being sold, and the people in the society have to purchase on that price. But later it has become the current scenario is the sales price is not in our control. It is under the control of market. A cost is the cost of production, and if you minus that, you get the profit. So profit is determined by the management. Management is not in a position to compromise on the profit. Sales price is under the control of market. So on these three variables, whatever is there in this formula or in this definition, only the cost is the area where we have the control. On rest of the two parameters, we have absolutely no control. The sales is determined by the market, and you don't have the liberty of increasing your sales price as like you want. So it may not be possible. The market share will simply slide down even if you increase a slightest increase in your sales price. There is so many competition, so many options are available in the market now, the marketplace. So selling price increase will become difficult, and the manufacturing cost is keep on increasing. The input cost is increasing, the labor increasing, the energy cost is increasing, the material cost is increasing. So the every cost which is contributing towards the manufacturing cost is increasing in the increasing trend. Sales price remains the stagnant. So ultimately, it brings down the cost. So on this level, this is the exact scenario now, how to improve the profit, And according to the definition, what is being mentioned at the top, only you have the control on the manufacturing cost. So that is the only option available with us. So once this equation and scenario is understood, so the focus shifts into the operation expenses. So this operational expenses focus of TPM is being misinterpreted that TPM is an operational excellence tool. But this is based on this fact that operational excellence is the only via media available to have a control on operating expenses, to manage the unpredictable sales price at marketplace, and to beat the expectations of the management, giving them certain percentage of profit. So once I say that the operational expenses, these are all the various variables which we have to focus upon. In olden days, there was a trading account. Wages was mentioned under trading account and salary was being mentioned under profit loss account. But wage is direct cost which is getting added to the product. Salary is not added to the product cost. But this is also a cost which reduces the profit. So ultimately, the financial status of the organization have to be understood. We need to understand the drain points of the revenue or the money which is available in the system of a particular organization. Accordingly, we have to customize the implementation pattern of any excellence tool, for that matter TPM. The operating philosophy of TPM is maximizing the overall equipment efficiency. So in a typical engineering industry, there are 4 M's which are applicable: man, machine, material, and method. In typical engineering industry, the machine is the place where the rest of the 3 M's, man, material, and method, is getting executed. So the well-being of the machine, the relevance of the machine, and the correctness of the machine which is going to produce the product has to be ensured. Otherwise, even by having the rest of the 3 M's at perfect place, the machine is not in a position to deliver the exact process what is to be done. The output cannot be achieved. So the initial focus shift into the machine, thereby the JH and JHPM and all becoming more important in the initial phases of implementation of TPM. It focuses on prevention, right? So you do not allow a problem to arise. So identify the problems well in advance, attack them, so that there's small abnormalities, small variations in the system doesn't have the courage or doesn't add up together and bring in a huge problem into the system. So the prevention becomes the focus. Once I say prevention is in the focus, the whole system of TPM is always focusing on identifying the abnormalities or the problems in the system and doing the corrective action towards that. And participation by all is one of the major criteria. And once I say all, it includes from top management to the last man standing in the shop floor. In the 12-step methodology of the TPM implementation, the first step is talking about the management's commitment. So unless otherwise the management commitment is there for any excellence initiative, it is almost impossible for the excellence initiative to get successful in any organization. So then Gemba principles, we have 5G, 6Gs type of Gemba, Gembetsu, Genjitsu, Genri. All these are all the Japanese words which is talking majorly about focusing about the shop floor as a place. So in a typical engineering industry where the shop floor finds a major importance because the raw material is converted into the finished good at the shop floor. So the Gemba finds an important role with respect to TPM implementation. These are all the 6 parameters any organization majorly focuses upon: productivity, quality, cost, delivery, safety, and morale, PQCDSM. So out of these 3, the customer focused variables are QCD: quality, cost, delivery. The customer is more important with respect to the quality, the utmost maximum quality at a minimum price or optimum price, the customer's expectation, and at appropriate time. So this QCD finds a major importance with respect to the customer point of view. To achieve the QCD, the system should focus on productivity, morale, and safety. If the system is not safe, if the system is having um, the occurrences of minor injuries, major injuries, etc., then it is impossible for the system to produce the right product. So the fear in the shop floor has to be eliminated. That is why the TPM is majorly focused about zero accident. And in Japanese culture, they don't allow these type of, they don't even accept minor injuries or first aid cases even, forget about the fatal injuries. So once I use the word Japan and uh, a few hours before the ex-prime minister of Japan, Mr. Abe, has been assassinated in Japan. My hearty condolences to them, for Japanese people. Hope you all know this news now. It's just out. So the
Yes.
inside, the inside system of the TPM implementation of company should majorly focus on these three: productivity, morale, and safety. Morale of these organization is means it's a sum total of the individual motivation of all the people in the system. If use this word, morale of Indian team is high, morale of Indian army is high, it means what? It's a sum total of individual motivation. That is called morale. So the first word in TPM is talking about total. That total word is completely related to the word morale. Unless otherwise, the morale of the organization is very high. Um, See, piercing through the ceiling, piercing through the impossibles will not be possible if the morale of the organization is not high. And we have to have an absolute safe environment at shop floor in transforming the raw material into the product, this final product. And productivity, that's where the second word, total productive maintenance. All activity what you do have to be productive. So in that case, the ratio between the input and output can be improved. That is called efficiency. That's the relationship between this input and output, how much you can produce more for a given input, or for a given output, how much minimum resources you can use as an input. In both the ways, efficiency can be improved. So PMS focuses with respect to the internal system so that you can deliver the QCD to the external system, that is customer. And TPM is focuses on these 6 parameters very thoroughly, and that thereby completes the entire organization. Once you go by the history of TPM, generally it started from America during World War II because of the major failure of the war missionaries during that time. So they wanted to have a focus with respect to the machine maintenance type of approach. It started from American concept, then it got transformed into Japan, and they have given a shape in the form of a TPM. So in 1960, the total productive maintenance was developed by Toyota, and Mr. Seiji Nakajima is considered as the father of the TPM. And with respect to India, it came to India in 1991. The Vikram Cement has started implementing TPM, and in 1998, CII has a collaboration with the JAPM and started implementing TPM in India. And since then, um, the TPM is implemented across the organizations through the support of CII, and now there are various other organizations, even individuals are available who are supporting the industry with respect to implementation of TPM. And these are all the various hierarchies of the award. Award for TPM Excellence Category B, the right side bottom, what we can say, is talking about the basic implementation of 4 pillars, including E and T. It means only by focusing on minimum 4 pillars, you can challenge this award, Excellence Category B. And Excellence Category A, all the 8 pillars have to be implemented. That is Excellence Category A. So you can start from B, go to A, then to the Excellence, or you can start with B and straight away going into the consistency is also possible. But most of the companies start the journey from excellence category A, where all the 8 pillars are being implemented. Then the next level of award is excellence in consistent TPM commitment. So the Japanese wanted to know whether the organization is really interested in implementing TPM. So it is not for the purpose of achieving the award you have implemented. So by winning the award, whether the particular organization is consistent in TPM in implementing the TPM, that is being checked in the second level of award with given level of improvement in the all the parameters under PQCDSM. The third award is with respect to the special award. Means you need to have a special focus, special areas of the business have to be identified, and thereby the TPM concepts have to be implemented to bring a special effect into the impact on the results of the organization. Then there are 3 levels of advanced special award 1, 2, 3, and finally is the world class. And you also have an option to straight away challenge the world class from special award. And here I have a concern, as Ashok has also said, that we have been implementing TPM since 30 plus years, but we could not even achieve one world class award according to JIPM till date in India. So this is the huge pain area with respect to the Indian system, because um, because of the timeline it consumes with respect to each levels of award. The excellence category A itself will take about 4 to 5 years time, minimum time to challenge this award, because they need to see 3 consecutive years results, trend, etc., to decide upon the impact of the TPM implementation. So first award itself, the around 6 to 9 months you will be doing on the manager model machine. Then next 3 financial years the results has to be there, and 1 complete year is the assessment process. So the first award itself will take about 5 years. There onwards 2 years, every 2 years you can challenge the next level of award. So if I go by this formula, 5 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, there are 17 years consistently an organization has to practice to achieve world class, and that becomes impossible, almost impossible in Indian organizations, because of the huge turnover of employees. As soon as some award is won, the almost 60 to 70% of the team is getting renewed or revived, and the people leave the organization. Thereby the implementation and sustaining of the whatever results have been achieved with respect to TPM concepts has become difficult. So we fall back, and thereby we could not able to move further. Very few organizations in India, like the leading brands like Bajaj, Mahindra, Tatas, etc., in special and advanced level category, and no one has still achieved the world class. This is a typical TPM temple where all the pillars are there, and ably supported at the bottom by 5S. So 5S we all know is an very, very common subject, but TPM gives maximum importance to this subject. 5S, for the sake of 5S implementation, will not give a huge foundation for the pillars to stand up to build the TPM temple. So 5S has to be implemented in letter and spirit. One of the school of thought saying that even 5S is implemented in letter and spirit in any organization, 50% of the TPM is implemented. That is one way of explaining the importance of 5S in any organization. So it is a people process. Organization, if I say, all the functions are being executed by the people. So unless otherwise the people is not brought into the focus, so the implementation of TPM will become difficult. You cannot implement TPM by having a bunch of people or a small group of people working on this. Say for example, Six Sigma project can be managed by a selective group of people with respect to a particular problem in hand. But TPM is not like that. You cannot implement the TPM across the companies in achieving all the parameters, important parameters of the company, by working with a few people in the organization. So TPM has to be implemented with respect to the complete length and breadth of the organization. And it ensures the group dynamics, and there has to be a common language to be spoken or to be understood within the TPM. So these are all the important characteristics with respect to the TPM. When we talk about 5S, we all understand what is 5S means, but let me give you a different perspective of this by introducing this statement. You do not have the second chance to make your first impression. So 5S is the gateway with respect to the any organization. Suppose a customer visits your organization or any of the top management or anyone who is outside the organization visits your plant, the 5S is going to give a first impression to them. 5S by letter and spirit is going to add a lot of value into the system in identifying the various wastages and eliminating them. But however, the discipline of following 5S means no unwanted item, 1S, all items in place, 2S, and absolutely clean. So 1S, 2S, 3S implementation in the shop floor is going to give a major breakthrough with respect to making a first impression. If the first impression is good, half 50 to 60% of the business is already done. So they will straight away get into the dynamics of discussing the business. If 5S is not there and the first impression is not there, then it creates a lot of doubt with respect to the visitor if he is a customer. So with respect to the expected delivery from the organization. So 5S is going to make a first impression. And if you lose the first impression, there is no second chance in making it. So that's the important aspect with respect to 5S implementation. And for that matter, it is a very, very common subject. So dusting out here and there, putting a frequent cleaning is not 5S. It has a deep meaning with respect to every concept of 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S. See, the alignment and integration plays a major role with respect to achieving results. See, in the first diagram, all the forces are working opposite to each other and everybody is pulling out in different directions, in 4 directions, 6 directions, 8 directions, whatever may be the, every function will have a KPI to deliver, every function will have a KRA to deliver. The deliverables are different, but the function heads, if they are only focusing on their individual deliverables, the common deliverable will be hanging in between. So this here also the people are putting effort. Here also people are working towards their KRIs and the KPIs, but the ultimate benefit to the organization will not happen in this model of alignment. And one is all the forces are at least in a single direction, unidirection now, but the levels of contribution is different. So in this way also, the achievement of the core objective of the organization may not be possible, and or it is partially possible because the alignment is the direction of the people are in unidirectional and the contribution is different. And the third level is all the resources of the organization are working together in a single direction and also interconnected with each other. So this type of approach is the model which is going to give maximum benefit to the organization. TPM is focusing on this third model. Now, the efficiency of the organization will grow substantially, tangentially high when the organization transforms in this model of alignment and integration within the organization. Now, you can understand where your company stands with respect to this model. So certainly it may not be in the first diagram. Some organization may be in the second, some organization in between second and third, and very few organization are in the third. If you claim yourself that my organization is the third diagram, then I'll tell you that you are eligible to challenge the world class award. It is very, very difficult to achieve this level of alignment and integration of the third diagram, and more importantly, after achieving, sustaining. So unless otherwise you achieve, integrate and sustain, then only the world class is possible. Here only the Indian organizations are suffering. In policy deployment with respect to the any organization, Hoshin Kanri concept of TPM plays a major role. which considers all the variables, all the inputs of the organization, right from vision of the organization, mission of the organization, core values of the organization. And it is not only voice of customer, it collects all the inputs from various stakeholders of the organization as voice of stakeholders. There has to be a pestle analysis has to be carried out. So these are all the add-ons with respect to TPM from various other business excellence initiatives. Means political, economical, societal, technological, legal, and environmental issues of both domestic market and international market have to be assessed. And every function, every company, every plant has to do their SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. Based on all these, risk assessment has been carried out so that how the organization is prepared with their mitigation and contingency plans. So there is a huge difference between these two words, mitigation and contingency. So this is being assessed through risk assessment. Risk is not only with respect to only the negative side of the business. Risk is also going to give an opportunity to the business. So there will be always opportunities. Corona is the huge risk with respect to the rest of the industry, but it was an opportunity for the pharma industry. So any risk will have both positive and negative impact based upon the characteristics of your company, your organization, your products and services of the organization. This risk assessment has to be carried out. And based on that, you will be having a long-term plan, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, etc. With all these inputs, the key management indices of the organization is arrived. Once the key management indices of the organization is arrived, to achieve that, you need to have KPIs, key performance indices for all the pillars or the functions of the organization. To achieve the key performance index, all the key activity indexes are to be identified. So once you start focusing on the KAI, it will all have impact towards KPIs, KMIs, and rest of the inputs, whatever we have considered in the policy deployment. So this is the important concept that we need to work upon. This itself will be about 1 day or 2 day workshop in any organization in identifying the right KMIs of the organization. And based on this, the whole company will be divided into a manageable portions, and those portions are called circles in TPM language. So that circle will have n number of people, n number of machines, and they will have their own processes. And based on that, the PQCDSM targets are being defined with respect to each circle, and that group focuses on the respective PQCDSM targets. And collectively, suppose 10 circles, 20 circles within the organization, if they focus on their PQCDSM targets, collectively it is going to have an impact on KPIs and KMIs of the organization. So these are all the various stakeholders with respect to any organization. Every stakeholder is powerful nowadays. It is not only customer. If you create any environmental issue, your company will be sealed. If you create an accident, your company will be sealed. If you do not comply any government rules, your company will be sealed. So what I'm saying, if you become a payment default, it becomes a problem for you. So all these stakeholders are very, very powerful in making a disruption into your company. So unless otherwise the business takes care of the interest of all the stakeholders, it is difficult to sustain nowadays. So the old TPM and the new TPM is entirely different now. The new TPM talks about inclusion of all these concepts in the TPM implementation in any organization. So we have these two words, effectiveness and efficiency. We understand these two words. You need to be effective to sustain, and to improve, you need to focus on the word efficiency. TPM is a change management tool. It tried to change the system unless otherwise, say for example, the people, if the people are there everywhere, people are performing every function within the organization. Yeah.
Just to quickly interrupt you, are you showing slides or you are just talking? In the last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes, we were not able to see the slides. Last 10 minutes.
Then I need to log out, means
you can share
out and share.
Yeah, you can unshare and reshare. Yeah, now it is coming. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So Probably
Yeah, I think we only missed some
from where
last minutes. Yeah, this one we saw. Just go to the next slide. Then I thought you were talking freely. Yeah. Yeah, this we saw. Yeah. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, all these things we saw. Yes, we did see. After that, I think we lost. Yeah, from there we lost it. Yes.
Yeah,
I thought you were
this is
talking
what that
about.
policy deployment. This is what I was talking about.
Okay.
Right. These are all the stakeholders. Now, effectiveness and efficiency I told. Now we get into the change management tool. Unless otherwise people are being changed, unless otherwise people are being brought out of their comfort zones, no improvement is possible. So that is why TPM focuses on every individual. So through the word total. So doing same thing again and again and expecting a different result is absolutely not possible and absolutely irrelevant. So we need to, if we want a different result, you need to find a way of doing things in a different way. Unless otherwise you focus on that differentiating factor, the improvement is not possible. So are we ready for the change? The general answer in any crowd will be, okay, we are ready for the change. But change is not that easy. Change, how the organization communicates the word change, how the person understands the word change, and how the resultant change is happening. I have a funny video to share with you on this. Just a minute. Is the video screen visible?
Yes, visible. That audio is not hearable, but video is visible.
What the management communicates, what the people understand, is the real game changer with respect to change management. Of course, this is an advertisement, but it is a huge.
पहली वाली को चला रहे हैं हम लोग 8 आवर्स 8 to 12 आवर्स और उससे जो स्लज निकलता है वो मतलब अच्छा खासा स्लज निकल रहा है.
So hope you have all seen this video, but I thought that with respect to giving you the input with respect to the change management as very important. So how this change is being understood by the people through the management communication. So have you seen the video earlier? It is available in YouTube as an advertisement. Hello?
Yeah, I have seen. Yeah, it's a good.
Yeah. So this is the way the change management becomes difficult for the organization. So TPM is also the organization announces in the organization that we are going for TPM implementation. But how the rest of the function understand that? People have their own perception. People perceive that it is an operational excellence node, it is a shop floor related, and rest of the support function is just walk out of that initiative. So that cannot be the way the change being brought into the system. It's very, very difficult to bring a change in the system. Learning is change in behavior. If you say you have learned something, unless otherwise it results in the change in behavior of you, it is not going to bring any result. So just having a knowledge by learning is not going to solve the purpose. You need to practice it. And I have just drawn this statement that growth is directly proportional to quantum of change. Change is important, and how much you change is going to decide the growth of the organization. If the people, it's a delta with respect to the previous state and current state of the organization. How much the organization has changed, that is going to directly have an impact on the growth percentage of the organization. So this equation, again, I have brought it to you. Vision, mission, skill, competencies, motivation and morale, resources, execution plan. So suppose I have considered all these 5. Out of this, if the vision and mission is not there for the organization, it will be a confusion in the system. Say I have been consulting in one of the companies where when I spoken about this ocean cannery concept, when I asked about the vision of the organization, no one was clear about what is the vision of the company. So then I went back and started identifying, defining the vision of the organization. But the organization is existing for about 100 years now, but they don't have a clarity on what is called a vision. So it is not that I am just saying out of air. These are practically available in the Indian industry. Or if an organization is having a vision statement, it is only an English statement. It is being written there. Nobody is bothered about. Nobody is even understand what the meaning behind the words written in the statement vision. And the second combination is you have vision, mission, you have rest of the things, and the skill and competencies of the people are not there or not matched or not focused upon. It will bring in anxiety to the people. The third one, you have vision, mission, you have skill and competencies, you have resources plan, but the motivation and morale of the people is not high, then it will bring a lot of resistance. One group of people motivation is low or a morale is low, that group will start indirectly putting all the hurdles with respect to the implementation of TPM. And the fourth one is the absence of resources. If the absence of resources are not there, people will try their level best with respect to the available resources, and ultimately they'll end up in frustration. And finally, if everything is there and you don't have a definite execution plan, that master plan, the blueprint of implementation of TPM, if it is not there, it is going to be a false start. It will everybody will start that. It will die out even before completing the manager model mission. So finally, if you have all the ingredients being made sure by the organization, it will definitely bring the change within the organization. So at what stage is your company now? You can assess yourself where I am there. So if you see out of this cross mark, wherever your organization may be on this combination, just focus on that. Then only it is possible to bring in a change within the system. But it is mandatory that all these elements have to be thoroughly focused. Then only bringing change within the organization is possible. We are broadly into 2 categories of people. One is not knowing things and not doing things. So this is insane. This is acceptable. I do not know. That's why I have not implemented it in my organization. Is acceptable. But the second category is knowing things and not doing. And let me submit this statement. So this is, I have no personal enmity or grievances with anyone, but this is the general context with respect to the Indian companies. We know everything. You talk about Six Sigma, people raise their hand. I have black belt. If you talk about TQM, people understand that. If you talk about TPM, people understand that. Every element of business excellence and various tools and techniques in the organization is available, but how much you have implemented is the question mark, huge question mark, I can say. So knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. So willingness to do is not, it's a starter, that's all. But unless otherwise you start doing it, the change is not going to come. The corona brought us back to the basics. So TPM is majorly focusing on having a thorough basic. Basic condition is the important word with respect to TPM implementation. So in olden days, we were not allowed to enter the home with chappals unless you just walk into the house, remove your chappals. There will be water kept there. You have to wash your hands, feet, everything. Then you get into the house. So that is the way the old culture was there. Now we go up to the bedroom with respect to our shoes on. So the coronas again brought us back to the basics. So it means what? the TPM focuses on the basic conditions. We may be thoroughly knowledgeable with respect to the various tools, but if basics are not right, the whole system will collapse like a pack of cards. This is exactly what I was making the statement. The TPM in practice in India for the last 30 years, it is almost known to all, and it is a commodity type of status now. But as a country, we do not have even one company as world class under JPM award. This is a huge shame of country as a whole, including you and me, in not achieving a world class award because of various internal problems we have. And who is going to solve it? That is you and me again. We need to try to change our organization. Thereby, every organization will change. Believe on this tool. See, it is not I'm selling TPM to you. Whatever initiative you have, just focus on that. Give your heart and soul to that. Then only achieving the maximum is possible with respect to that excellent initiative. Just touching upon, just floating on any excellence tool is not going to solve the purpose. There are huge intangible benefits which cannot be directly measured. These are all the various intangible benefits, and I can give maximum credit to intangible benefits, which is ultimately going to bring a huge change in the tangible benefits. And major of them are with respect to the people improvements. This is the 12-step methodology with respect to TPM implementation. As I was telling you that the first step, if you see that, it is focusing on the 12-step implementation, and the first step is focusing on the management commitment, management declaration. So it takes about 3 to 9 months for implementing the TPM with respect to manager model machine and making a formal kickoff. Then you focus on the rest of the step in with respect to implementation, horizontal deployment of all pillar concepts, and finally you challenge the JPM award. It's a 12-step methodology, and that is being briefed. The way head moves, the tail moves. That is the important point with respect to the step 1. In Hindi, it is Jaise Raja, Vaise Praja. தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா ராஜா எப்படியோ அதே மாதிரி தான் குடிமக்கள் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Something like that. So the management commitment, that is why drawn as an individual step. The announcement by the management will not take even 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes is going to do a huge magic with respect to TPM implementation. For the paucity of time, just let me flow through this. And this is the TPM organizational structure, where you find that on the left-hand side, right from the top person to the last person in the shop floor is being connected in the triangular concept. And on the right-hand side, all the pillar subcommittees are being formed and being connected. So that is why it is aligned and integrated. Now let us focus on the first pillar, KK pillar. In Japanese language, JPM language, any improvement is called Kaizen, but all the improvements are not Kobetsu Kaizen. So this KK, the word itself is called Kobetsu Kaizen. Means any improvement you do that was visible to you, you see a problem and you just work on it and do an improvement is Kaizen. But identifying the problem and trying to find an appropriate countermeasure for that, it's a Kobetsu Kaizen. That is why improvement and focused improvement, there are 2 elements. So Kobetsu Kaizen is talking about focused improvement. First of all, you make an effort in even identifying the problem, then you kill it. So it is not that the problem comes to you of its own and you find a solution for it. That is not KK. You need to identify the problem and kill it. The problem with respect to the organization majorly on the time and cost. So KK pillar focuses on these 2 major parameters. This KK2 pillar is being called as a brain of TPM. Mostly the pillar chairman of KK pillar is the plant head who is having the bird's eye view with respect to the running of the organization. Kaizen and continuous improvement are the major concepts with respect to the KK. If you see these 2 ladders, the first ladder is having closed steps. The second ladder is having the gap between 2 steps. If a man have to climb faster, the first ladder of the closed steps will be easy rather than this huge step. So generally the organization focuses with respect to finding a major leap with respect to some of the concepts. But doing small improvements is going to give you a huge momentum with respect to improvement. So through this ladder diagram, you can understand that continuous improvement and small improvement plays a very major role in the TPM point of view. So if you see, there are a lot of diagrams I have given you, and you can just go through that. And if I ask you a question with respect to how many squares are there? So you may reply 5, 6, 7, something like that. So there are squares with respect to various colors also. The moment I ask you the question, how many squares are there, your focus only shifts with respect to identifying the squares, and you don't even see the rest of the figures. After I ask you the first question with respect to the squares, even if I ask you how many triangles were there, nobody will be in the position to answer that question, because once the moment the question is being asked, entire focus is towards finding the solution with respect to the question is being asked. So we become blind even the problem is in front of us, because our focus is not there with respect to that. So this is the concept with respect to KK is talking about. And if I say the eye test type of concept, if you go to an eye test, there are letters that is being identified. If you will be struggling to read the last statement with respect to fourth word or fourth letter or something like that. The moment the power of the lens is changed, you will be in a position to see that. So this is the beauty of the KK focused improvement. That is, unless otherwise you focus in identifying the problem, it is impossible that you will not be in a position to, even the elephant is standing in front of you, you will not be in a position to see that. So bringing in focus with respect to that is the major. So if I see in this picture, if I ask you to identify the snake, can you able to identify the snake in this first picture? Is the picture is visible to you?
Yes. Picture is
Can you identify the snake in this?
not yet.
Not yet. In this picture also there is a snake. So now the focus is not there. We are glazing through the entire picture, the whole rectangle we are looking at, the entire area we are looking into. So we are not in a position to identify the problem. The moment you start focusing on that, I have put a focus there. Now can you see that?
Yeah, I could see some coiling.
No, see, this is the head and this is the body. This is the body. Can you see that?
Some, yeah, as I said, I was seeing some coiling image, which is probably.
Yeah. Right. So what I'm saying is, unless otherwise you focus in identifying the problem, you will not be in a position to focus. Say another example. Can you find the mistake in this? No answer has come so far. But the moment I put this statement and I put these letters, majorly people will focus on this 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9. But the problem is there are 2 D in this. You understand? So I am just giving you a mind game, because some of the areas our mind accepts it that or believes that there is no problem. The moment you say there is no problem, that is a huge problem, right? The moment the mind understands that there is no problem, that area is become completely blind. This is the exact scenario in the business. The moment you are comfortable with respect to some of the concepts, you will not be in a position to see the problems that is happening there. And according to Shinji Shingo, the waste which is not being identified as the waste is the huge waste in the system. Here we are even struggling with respect to finding waste, but what he says is the waste which is not defined, found out as a waste is the huge waste. So this is where the importance of KK pillar with respect to the focus maintenance. The organization is focusing on cost or loss. These are all the 2 words. As I told you, the KK pillar is majorly focused on cost and loss. Majorly, the organization is focusing on which word, whether it is cost or loss?
See, the loss directly contributes to the cost. So I couldn't take one over the other.
Anyone else? If I give you only one option, give me the word as either cost or loss.
The first thing that goes into the mind might be cost rather than loss.
Exactly. See, everything boils down on money. Everything boils down on money. So if you go through the boardroom discussion, everything will be boils down and revolving around the word money. But loss is the medium over which the whole system, loss, wastages, muda, mura, muri, all abnormalities, all these are the medium through which we contribute towards achieving the cost. So loss is the KAI over which you focus on the KPI cost. So the organization major focus is cost, and that is being achieved through focusing on loss. Do we also know these two words? One is called cost loss, another one is loss cost. Is both the statements are same or different? Anyone?
Sir, both are different only, sir.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, cost loss is nothing but under the overhead cost, what is the loss accumulated? Loss cost means in terms of time, how much cost has been accumulated. That's you can say.
Yeah, you are right, but let me fine tune your answer. There are cost elements in the system. Say, for example, while doing a changeover, there may be a wastage of raw material, right? So how much raw material I lost and what is the cost of that raw material? If I go into that, that is cost loss. What is the loss happened with respect to each cost element while doing the changeover? Loss cost means that is, if you consume about an hour for a changeover, what is the loss with respect to the money terms of that 1 hour is loss cost. So this is the huge difference between these two words. Unless otherwise you understand these two words, making the loss tree, cost tree and loss cost matrix, that is the important element of the KK pillar, is not possible. So we need to have a clarity with respect to understanding these two words. That is very, very important with respect to that. So we are now consuming about 1.5 hours time. Can anyone guess what is the cost of this 1.5 hours program? So it is a huge. So unless otherwise you get into these type of concepts, if you start putting all the elements with respect to this, there is an indirect cost, there is a direct cost. Direct cost is with respect to our timeline share with respect to that. And you are now not doing, you are supposed to do in your plant now. That 1 hour out of focus with respect to this, that is going to be a opportunity cost and invisible cost that is also getting added into this program. So loss tree, loss cost matrix is an important tool under KK through which we can, that understanding is very much important to effectively implement the concept KK. The second is with respect to autonomous maintenance, JH means there are two types of maintenance. One is frontline maintenance and the specialized maintenance. Frontline maintenance has to be carried out by the production people, and the specialized maintenance has to be carried out by the people who are dedicatedly doing the maintenance, that is called planned maintenance under this pillar. So unless otherwise people own their machine, people own their processes, and people take care of their own machines, it is absolutely become impossible for a third person to take care of the machine for the maintenance in doing the production. So JH is considered as heart of TPM, and we are implementing this TPM with a major objective from I operate, you maintain concept to I operate, I maintain concept, because the operating team, the frontline maintenance, the production people take like CII TOA, cleaning, lubrication, inspection, tightening, operation, and adjustment. These are all the small activities which can majorly reduce or prevent the occurrences of major breakdowns. And the third pillar is with respect to PM, planned maintenance. It is not plant maintenance, PLANT nahi hai. It is not PLANNED, planned maintenance. Maintenance has to be absolutely planned. The first level of maintenance is with respect to time-based maintenance. From breakdown type of maintenance, we have to come to the time-based maintenance. For implementing the thorough time-based maintenance, we must understand the deterioration life or the deterioration pattern over which the deterioration happens in any component or a part. Based on that, a timeline has to be drawn and the maintenance schedule has to be drawn. So TBM will prevent the possible occurrence of breakdown. That is being carried out by the specialized team. In Japanese language, this is called kaikaku hosen. It is not bringing a small change in the system. You have to bring a radical change, means enormous change you have to bring in with respect to PM implementation. That is why PM is called specialized maintenance under TPM. 30%, 70% of the occurrence of breakdown in your current system is absence of the frontline maintenance. The CLIT OA focus is not there. If CLIT focus is not there, 70% of the breakdowns will occur. Let me put it in the positive way. If the frontline maintenance people has been equipped or educated, trained in such a way that they can execute the frontline maintenance in a powerful way, you can directly reduce or eliminate 70% of your current problem. This is the interpretation with respect to PM. Then quality maintenance. Is zero defect is possible? Is zero breakdown is possible? These are all the major questions. I told you TPM is the only tool which has the guts to use the word zero breakdown and zero defect, zero accidents. So zero breakdown is absolutely possible by following the TPM principles. Then quality maintenance. So as I told you, the M is maintenance, it is not management. What are all the input variables has to be maintained to achieve the expected output. So that's the meaning of this pillar, quality maintenance. So the major focus is with respect to 3M, 4M conditions, the optimal conditions, etc. has to be taken care. Then only the zero defect is possible. The major parameters with respect to defect which can impact the organization is cost of quality and cost of poor quality. And some organization use synonym to each other and some organization use these two parameters very differently, which consists of this poor cost, preventive cost, appraisal cost, failure cost. In failure cost, you have internal failure cost and external failure cost. So all these are taken care with respect to this quality maintenance. Development management. For any organization, you need to have a right equipment, right processes, and right product. So this DM pillar focuses on the PPE, that is process, the plant, that is equipment, and with respect to product. PPE, process, product, equipment. This is the focus with respect to DM pillar. All the equipments that is there in the current plant is once upon a time introduced by a system. That system is called DM pillar. So all the equipment has to be easy to maintain, easy to operate. All the product that is being introduced into the system is easy to use, easy to produce, and easy to use. So these type of concepts are being preached under DM pillar. Then we have education and training. Competency, the people is the major focus with respect to TPM. Unless otherwise you improve the skill and competency level of the people, bringing change within the system is not possible. So the education and training pillar finds a major role. The core focus with respect to the technical group of organization is being handled by an individual pillar called ENT pillar. The rest of the support functions are being handled. The competency development of support functions is being handled under Office TPM. So Office TPM is the group of all the support functions in the system: HR, finance, IT, sales, marketing, supply chain management, he faces supply chain management, under his procurement, order management, supplier quality, input, incoming logistic, outgoing logistic. All these support functions are grouped under one pillar. So that is why I told you TPM takes care of the entire organization. So under Office TPM, rest of the functions, support functions are being grouped under this. So let me put a disclaimer that I'm not going to mention this with respect to your organization. I am just going to make a general statements through this example. OTPM in general context with respect to Indian is TPM is perceived as an operational excellence tools. So that is why shop floor is responsible. I am not responsible. This is what the way the support function feels. The second one, very senior level employees, department heads of support function, generally GM and above. Under support function, the quality function, there is only one head. So it is easy to manage. But in Office TPM, when I put all the support functions in one basket, everybody is GM, VP and above. So it becomes very difficult to manage all these people under one pillar. This is the second constraint with respect to Indian context. Third is there is no standard approach. JH, you have 7-step methodology. PM, you have 8-step methodology. QM, you have 10-step methodology. Likewise, in Office TPM also, there is a 5-step methodology, but it is very preliminary type of approach. Through that, it will be impossible to manage all the support function very effectively. Third is Office losses are not understood. As I told you, there are 16 losses with respect to KK. But in Office functions also, you have various losses. There are 7-8 losses, but that is not being understood by the Office TPM. Say, for example, accuracy loss, communication loss, these type of losses, weighting loss, these are all the losses are not understood, and you don't have a mechanism to measure these losses in the system. Say, for example, now Ashok is sitting here in this forum, but there may be some files waiting for Ashok's signature now. So in TPM language, there is a loss happening there, but this loss is nowhere accounted in. But in shop floor, if a work in progress is waiting between two machines, it is glaringly visible in the system, or you have a measurement mechanism through which this data comes out. But these type of office losses, you don't have a mechanism, and that mechanism is not understood, or the people usually say that I don't know how to do. So these are all the constraints, but usually I recommend where you start in your own way of doing it, right? So that is what the way I start implementing the Office TPM in any organization, and started giving them, you do your own way, you try to find out how you can be done. So that's the start point we have to do, and that starting is very difficult. So see this picture, it's a typical organizational status, the organizational objective, the core functions are pulling from front and pushing from back, and see the shape of the wheel. The wheel is in the square form or a diamond form. The organization will be suffering, the whole system will be suffering because of this design of wheel. And I can call it as support functions. If the support functions is not supporting or doing this way, so we can call it as, it is not TPM, it is partial productive maintenance. It is PPM, it is not TPM. So if you change the design of the wheel into this circular motion, then it will actually become a TPM, total productive maintenance. The real bull run starts for the organization if the support functions state of mind also changes and joins in the stream of TPM implementation. So, but the TPM implementation drives out its team in excellence in consistency level itself in Indian organization only because of these type of constraints we have in the system, and we don't have a proper system to address this issue in any organization. So that's the huge drawback with respect to TPM implementation in India. All these are support function supporting in the manufacturing, and main objective of the Office TPM is to support manufacturing, and more importantly, when the change is happening. The order, there is an order, you have released the order and the production is happening. Suddenly the customer gives you a mail, he's either changing the order or changing the priority or even cancels the order, or there is a new order that comes in. So again, the PPC production planning control do some sort of again mathematics and come back to you and doing the permutation combination changes, etc. So these type of changes are become permanent now in any system. So how the support function is supporting the manufacturing during this type of dynamic changes is the crucial factor we need to focus upon. Safety, health, environment is the basics with respect to zero accident. These are general subjects, whether you practice TPM or not, this is very, very important. And since it is being designated as 8th pillar in TPM, it should not be taken easily. For Japanese, this is the most important pillar. You may have some inconsistency in achieving any of the results in your organization, that is acceptable, but zero accident is the primary objective and primary requirement with respect to challenging JPM award. The sustainability word is in air now across the globe with respect to industries. These are the add-ons with respect to C pillar. And with this, I tried myself within this given period of time to give an overview with respect to the TPM implementation. Due to paucity of time, let us stop here. And if given an opportunity later, we will discuss in detail later. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ashok.
Thank you very much, Gopal. It was a very, very informative and captivating session. As we discussed in the beginning of this conversation, it is a topic that continue to be relevant, and also one thing that really struck me is you mainly focused on whys of the TPM, why we need to implement TPM rather than the hows. Typically we have a tendency to get into the how and what, and we generally ignore the question why. So that very clearly came out, and I would say that is a very good insights. I'm sure all the participants would have gained. So that is wonderful. And we also discussed about this PQCD, SME, and their relevance throughout. And some of the very interesting aspects of TPM is how you break down an organization into manageable chunks and how you pursue focused improvement so that the improvements at each of these individual pocket start giving results, and also they synergize into a larger whole. So it becomes a very, very democratic way of running an organization and also addressing your problems and pursuing improvement opportunities. So in that way, it's an excellent tool. Whether it's loss cost matrix, QM matrix, AK, PM, AM, and all these pillars. I think they all add significant value to any organization, and organizations using Six Sigma and even all these advanced tools like AI, ML. I would say put TPM as a foundation, as an underpinning, and you can put all these other relatively sophisticated tools. Not that TPM is less sophisticated, but for a lack of a better word, all these sophisticated tools on top of this to pursue specific issues that are highlighted by TPM. If organizations go that route, I think it'll be very, very meaningful. So with that, again, I would like to thank Gopal one more time, and then we will open the floor for questions. Anyone, any questions to Gopal? Please go ahead. Anyone? Let's. Any questions you have? So we will wait for some time.
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Subramani from TAPE.
Yes, Subramani.
Sir, nice overview of a presentation, sir, that you have given. Just I want to know some, for curiosity, I want to get some details from you, because as you said, in some of the slide, like as a country, we don't have even one company as well class under JPM award, right? So, so for that, how many companies in India would have challenged those award and failed? So, is it so, or anything you mentioned about? Because you specifically mentioned about those points, so that way I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. So Have you finished your question?
Yeah, so please, you can.
Yeah. See, no company has applied and failed. No, the condition is no company has so far applied even, right? So our system has not gone to that maturity level of even you have a guts to apply for world class. Okay. So that I told you is the major reason with respect to the consistency of implementation. You may have gone up to special award, but the basics in the shop floor start breaking down, right? And then the breakdown that was eliminated from the system is start occurring again. The defect that was eliminated in the system is start occurring again. And there has been a minor accident happened in the floor. So this is the way in the Tamil சொல்ற மாதிரி இந்த பரமபதம் மாதிரி 99 பாயிண்ட் போயிருந்தாலும் அந்த பாம்பு டைன்னு கொண்டு வந்து ஒன்ல கொண்டு வந்து விட்டுரும். அந்த மாதிரி ஸ்பெஷல் அவார்டு லெவலுக்கு போனா கூட then the basic system, if it is not consistent, the whole system collapse and comes down very drastically to the basic conditional inconsistent level, and that is very dangerous. Unless otherwise you have a robust basic condition level, going up to the world class level is almost impossible. That is the huge area we are lacking.
Yes, but yeah, understood, sir. Thank you. Sir, one more thing, because going for an award is not like that. It's up to the management decision, right? So suppose last year or last previous year, let's say example, Tetra Pak, they have received like advanced special award, and like Bajaj Auto and few of the companies, they would have received advanced special award. So furthermore, if they want to go, they can go, or else they can stop there itself. That is a decision, right? So it is not necessary that they have to go for a world class. That's my question.
No, what I'm saying is, if world class award can be applied, is whatever companies you have told now. These people is only the opportunity to apply that. So the rest of the companies have no opportunities even to think about world class. And if the management is not deciding towards challenging the world class, so it gives basic doubt with respect to your journey of TPM, right?
Fine.
So if you have gone up to advanced special award, then there is a 10 to 15 years of commitment on TPM. So the ultimate aim, the benefit of or the global recognition that comes through world class. So there, I don't think the management will stop it, but the meeting the requirements with respect to the world class may be the issue rather than the management decision. But of course, that is what I'm saying. The management also changes very frequently in India. The CEO changes, the plant head changes, the business head changes. He comes with his various priorities. He has some knowledge with respect to various business excellence tools. So the TPM takes a backseat and Six Sigma starts. So something like that. This is the churning that is happening in the management is also one of the major issues.
Yes, understood. Very understood. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Yeah, if I may add a point, organizations may pursue TPM without being pressured into, at least it's my personal view, without focusing on the award. Just start the journey, pursue it in spirit. And once you are convinced, then you can go for the award, which is the next step. But don't have the objective shouldn't be getting the award, or the end shouldn't be getting the award. It should be pursuing excellence and using this as a tool. So I would put the holistic deployment of TPM more than getting that award or that brass plaque that you can put behind your desk. That would be my personal.
So to add on to Ashok, let me say that it is not for winning award. Any organization can do that. How TPM as a tool has helped the organization in bringing a major change into the system. If you demonstrate to JAPM, you get the award, right? So merely meeting the requirements of the award criteria will collapse like anything, and it is an assessment they can very well come to know the hollowcity of implementation. It's very dangerous.
Right. Excellent. Thanks, Subramani. Anybody else? Any other questions to Gopal?
Yes, sir. I had one. Suman Verma, Gopal, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
Actually, with the coming industry 4.0 now moving to 5.0, a lot of automation you are seeing now. How different will be the the TPM approach in terms of skill requirement training, like we call step 4, step 5. We have those training criteria for the autonomous maintenance and all. So how different uh, approach has to be taken now?
Yeah. So let me take the example of OK as an example. OK is an error-proof or error prevention tool, but it should not be the substitute for poor skill. If an operator has supposed to do certain job and he is not doing it, and thereby you result in the defect or a breakdown, and to prevent that you should not deploy the OK. So it should not be the substitution with respect to the OK. So then coming back to your point, this automation should not be the substitute of skill. Okay, you have
Right.
maximum skill, the operator is capable of doing it, but only to the purpose of improving the productivity, improving the market demand, improving or capturing the marketplace, that type of automations. So whether it is a partial automation or a stepwise automation or a full automation, so India is a country, you need to give a job to the people. Employment is a problem. So complete automation may not be an issue, the right proposition with respect to Indian context. So but on the flip side, our people are very skilled, right? If the organization focuses on skill improvement, it is going to give a major change. So this is a combination of the Indian context with respect to the employment as a focus, and with respect to the global market and global competition with respect to automation. The organization has to find a right mix in implementing it. So blindly getting into this 4.5 and 5.0 type of approach may not be the right approach for any organization. This is my submission.
Right, sir. Got it.
Thank you, Suman. Anybody else? Any question to? We can't hear you. But if you're speaking, we can't hear you. At least I can't hear you.
No, sir, I have not spoken. But
Yeah, I'm not
sir,
able
just
to.
Rajkumar this side, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. I think it was a very comprehensive and excellent. I don't know how do you managed within 1.5 hours, but still we were able to get probably for us a lot of refreshing, and we are being practicing this in TAFE. And thank you so much, sir. That's what I want to say. The only thing is, you touched almost all the pillar within 1.5 hours, so that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Any questions? I will pause for another 30 seconds. And while somebody can bring up a question, and Gopal also mentioned about Abe passed away, and he was a great friend of India and one of the supporters of India. I mean, the former Japanese Prime Minister, great supporter of India in terms of diplomatic support and economic support, and a great friend. So it's very sad that his life has come to an end by this very ghastly incident. So my sincere condolences on the behalf of CII's TPM Forum of Chennai. Anybody else? Any questions? No? All right, great. So Gopal, it has been a pleasure. So thank you so much, and taking time with us in spite of you being on a personal trip to Rameshwaram. So I wish you all the very best, and we will keep. Thank you, Gopal, and thanks everyone. You all take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok sir. Thank you, Gopal
Thank you,
sir.
Ashok.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
for taking out your
Thank you,
time and
CII
joining us
Chennai
today.
and all
Yeah,
the participants. Wish you all the best. Jai Hind.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
participants.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Suman sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ashok.
everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm leaving. Thank you very much. Good day. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
बनाया था उसको भेजना था यार, उसमें एक झंझट हो गया।
Thank you, sir.
उसमें
Thank
ना
you very much.